Dennis, thanks for joining. Just wait for 1 or 2 minutes. Many people are need to join. I don't know why they're getting late.
No worries.
Okay.
Oh,
My screen is visible to everyone. You guys are able to see my screen, right?
yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Great. So let's start, guys, without any further wait, right? And we'll try to understand step by step the next configuration of the Palo Alto Firewall because we have the very good
क्या
foundation.
आवाज नहीं आ रही है?
Okay. Sound is not coming. Is
Hello?
it? Hello, hello, hello. You guys are able to hear me?
Yes, you are audible, sir.
Bridges, can you just check your mic setting? I believe you have the only problem. Other people, Sangeeta, Dipanshu, you guys are able to hear me, right? Bridges, Parth, Anurag.
Yes.
Okay, good. So let's start our discussion, guys, right? Because the session is going to be start sharp on time without any further delay. And this is a 1 hour session. So I'm expecting everyone join on time from tomorrow onward because the regular classes is going to be happen. So I don't want somebody is going to join late and they're going to miss first 5-10 minute, class discussion. So still people are missing, but let's start our class. Okay. So what we're going to discuss today in a Palo Alto, we have the very unique concept and that is known as the zone, right? Because in a Palo Alto Firewall, we keep doing discussion about different kind of the concept. So similarly, we have the zone concept and we should know how the zone is going to be configured. So let me first wipe up this Palo Alto Firewall configuration, if any old configuration is there. And also at the same time, I'll explain you how zone is going to be deployed for the layer 2 environment, right? So let's suppose I have the firewall and I want to use firewall as a layer 2 switch. Then how zone is going to play a very vital role because in the switch we have the layer 2 interfaces which can be configured for the trunk, which can be configured as a access port. But if I want to some kind of the security, I want to deploy some kind of security implementation on the switch level, that is a port level security, I can do that. But it's quite impossible to just validate the traffic based on the IP. I can do some advanced filtering and all. That is not possible at all. So how it is going to happen in the firewall, that we'll see in this lab. The project, that is a very first lab we're going to discuss, right? Additionally, the very unique concept in the Palo Alto and most important concept is the zone, right? So if you're going to discuss anything, they're going to talk about the zones, right? So still we're going to discuss a lot of things, right? The configuration management, licensing and all. We have to discuss the single pass architecture as well. So you don't have to worry about that. We'll discuss step by step each and everything. So nothing is going to miss to anyone, means any topic. But why I'm discussing this? Because it's very important. So I want to make the session should be very interactive and you guys understand the configuration plus theoretical side by side. So if I talk about the zone, right? So zone is something, let's suppose I'm showing in the example. This is like kind of the one of diagram you can see here. In this diagram, if you see that we have the multiple kind of the zones defined around the firewall. You can see that. And basically that zone definition, you can basically do the lot of segregations, which is just acting as a zero trust networking. And by using that zero trust networking, you can just give me 1 minute. Let me see why this pen is not working. Oh, leave it not working, I believe. Let me try one more time. Okay. So we have this kind of the segregation. We have the DMZ, we have the guest, we have the users, we have the internet, we have the data centers. So based on these all segregations, we are just defining some demarcations. And based on that demarcation point, we are just segregating our network infrastructure. So why it is important being a security engineer and being the firewall deployment? Let's suppose you are part of the one department, and by default you should able to communicate within the department. That is a it's like the kind of the secure environment, right? So you should not have the access to other department where basically you don't have to do any kind of work. So this is the most important you have to understand, and basis of that segregation zones come in a picture. So whatever the interface we have in the Palo Alto firewall, I showed you we have the different type of interfaces. We have the logical interface, we have the physical interface, we have some kind of VLAN interface, we have the HA interface. So you can see here, let me show you. So we have the different type of interfaces. Layer 2 interface we have the layer 3 interface, we have the virtual wire interface. We have the tap mode interface, we have the sub interfaces, right? We have the virtual like interfaces as well, VLAN interfaces as well. So whatever the interfaces we have, also we have the HA interfaces in our environment and also management interfaces. So in regard of the what interfaces I have in each and every interfaces, I require the zone configuration except HA and management interface. So when I have the management interface, that is not going to require the zone. When I have the HA interface, that is not going to require a zone configuration. So you guys can write it out. MGMT, these two interfaces not required zone configuration. Rest, whatever the interfaces we have, it is going to require the zone configuration. This is the first concept. Now let's discuss about what is the zone and why it's very important for us. Okay. So if I talk about the security zone in the Palo Alto firewall, so security zone is the one of the concept. By leveraging those concept, we can segregate our logical and physical interface. I can say like the demarcation point means where my traffic should be routed and how my traffic should be processed. So let me give one of the very layman examples so you guys can understand what I'm trying to make a point here. So let me go here, and let's suppose this is one big company, right? In this big company, we have the lot of like we can say departments, and based on that departments, we have the lot of kind of the employee are sitting in a different departments. So you can just think in this way. So let's suppose in the first block, some IT people are sitting here, some HR people are sitting here, some sales are sitting here, some marketing, right? Again, we have some kind of the HR people, we have the IT people, we have the IT people here, we have the sales, we have the marketing, right? And also we have the again kind of the sales people. So what is going to be happen and why it is very important? So let's suppose think about we have the every department we have a dedicated entry and exit gate. Think in this way. So this department have this kind of the entry and exit. So any people are going to come by this department, they can simply enter and exit from this door. Similarly, everywhere we have this kind of the entry and exit, right? So if I am the IT department guy, right? So what I'm going to do that I simply enter in my this particular area, whatever this I can enter it. If I am the HR, I can enter here as well. If I am the marketing, I can here enter as well. Again, IT, I can here is department. But here is a catch. If I am the IT people, might be this location is for the 30 people, and more than 30 people I have like the allocation for the HR department that have not seat available in this particular department. So might be next 30 people can sit here, next 30 people can sit here. So if I am the IT people, I can sit this place, or this place. Similar in the HR, might be 20 seats here. So 20 people can sit here, 20 people can sit here. And other, if I have the HR department, they also can arrange 20 people to sit there as well. So different departments have different kind of the sitting arrangement, and only those kind of department are going to sit there. So if I am going to belong in the IT department, by default, I have the access of the another IT department sitting area. Even I can sit here, I can sit here. But if I am the HR department, by the way, I can sit here and same time I can have the access of this area as well. And I can, sales department can access the both area as well. This is a default in nature. And if I'm the IT, I can access this IT as well. Marketing can access the marketing departments, like you can think in this way. So by default, if I am going to belong in the one zone, right, and that zone is going to allow access to another zone, means if one department people have the some kind of the set of the accessibility, the same department people can access the like the same department which is separated by different location, right? So this is how my segregation has been done. But let's assume that if IT people want to access the sales team, right? If these people want to access the area, is it possible? Technically, it's not possible. Might be the gate which have the access card that need to be punched there. That is not allowed for the IT people. So IT people must be take the special arrangement to get an access of the sales team. In sales team area. Can you mute, guys? Please mute. So IT people must be have some kind of the special arrangement to get access to the sales area, right? And similarly, it is going to happen for the any other department. So what is the takeaway from these particular representations? So takeaway from this representation is, if I'm going to belong in the same domain, right? So by default, access will be allowed for same department employee, or whatever you can think that, or like people. But if the different type of the department want to communicate to each other, it means you want to take access from the different type of the departments. So by default, access will be blocked, right? For different department employee. You can just think about this way, right? So this is a short story about the in layman understanding. Same concept is going to use in the our Palo Alto Firewall as well. So in Palo Alto Firewall, we are going to leverage the same concept, and by leveraging the same concept, what we are going to do that, if I have the firewall and that firewall having the different kind of the interfaces, right? And if one interface belong to the one particular zone, means one department, another belong to another department. So those interface resources cannot talk to each other. Just understand it this way. Let's think about this is my firewall. Okay. So this firewall have the multiple interfaces. Just think about this firewall having multiple interfaces, right? Just think about these interfaces. So now what I'm going to do that, if this is going to belong to the HR, it might be my Ethernet 0 by 0, right? This is my ETH 0 by 1. This is going to belong to the IT. This is my ETH 0 by 3, sorry, 2. This is again going to belong to IT. And just think what this is my ETH 0 by 3, and it is going to belong to the HR. So what is going to happen in this scenario? So these are different interfaces of Palo Alto Firewall, but they have a different kind of a department allocations. So whatever the special allocation we are doing here, that is known as the zone allocation. Means they are going to leverage the zone concept. We are going to define the zone, By defining the zone, the resources of this area is just belong to this zone. The resources of this area is going to belong to this zone. This resources is going to belong to this zone. This resources going to belong to this zone. But one more catch is here. Even my resources are going to belong to different interfaces which having a different zones. But let's say suppose any people are connected here as a PC, right, in HR zone, and another people are connected here in the same HR zone. If they want to talk, firewall by default going to allow the access if they want to talk, right? Understand? So if my department is same, if my zone name is going to be same, by default firewall having a properties, it is going to allow access to just do the communication. But if if the another PC is going to be connected in this particular zone, the IT zone, and he want to talk to this HR guy, by default, this connection is going to be blocked by the Palo Alto Firewall. You all understand this concept? Means, I mean to say, if I have the zone, if I have the different interfaces, and different interfaces have the different zone configurations. So by default, same kind of zone is going to talk to each other. Different type of zone is not going to talk to each other. This is the by default feature of the Palo Alto Firewall. And why it is by default, I'll show you the reason behind it. But I hope you guys understand about at least this basic concept of the zone. Clear? Any questions anyone have?
Clear.
Okay. So moving forward, right? If I technically discuss the zone definition, what is the zone definition? So security zone is like it's kind of the logical way. Once we define the zone, right? It's kind of the logical way to group our physical interface or might be the virtual interface. It could be anything. As I mentioned that zone is always going to require either I am going to configure the VLANs, that's the virtual interface, sub interface that is also required the zone, any L2, L3 interface that is also required the zone, except HA management. Every interface type required a zone. So by leveraging the zone feature, what is going to be happen? Firewall is going to control your incoming traffic or outgoing traffic, which is going to travel through the different firewall resources. And what is the resources? That is your firewall arms. That is your actual interfaces. So zone is going to just control the traffic traversals. By default, it is not going to allow the different set of the people communication to just maintain the zero trust security, right? If I'm going to belong in the same zone, it is going to allow. But even I want to block even the same type of people, it is also possible. But this is default behavior. All right. So if I move to the lab topology again, here in this lab topology, you guys, if you see that, I have the one of the firewall, right? And if you guys have to access this firewall, then how you can access this, right? So let me explain the lab point of view, how you can access this firewall as well. Simply, you have to start the firewall. Okay. The first step, you have to start the firewall by clicking the right. If you want to any start the firewall, let me add one of the firewall to just show you how you can start the firewalls. So we have the two model of firewall. One is the 9.0, 10.0. So if you want to do the quick lab, you can use the 9.0. If you want to do the advanced lab, you can just select the 10.0. It will take little bit time. It will take some little time, right? 10.0 is going to take a more time, but it have the license feature. Okay. So you guys can use
Sir,
the, yes, Saurabh.
सर एक बात बताओ, फायरवॉल हम पढ़ रहे हैं.
Saurabh, can you just ask in the English because we have the English speaking audience as well. Please don't mind.
We are study about firewalls.
Yes.
You remember last to last days, maybe I discussed with some topics with you.
BGP, right?
Yes.
Yes,
And
yes.
I applied a network security engineer after
Mm-hmm.
the completion firewall with you.
Right, right.
So why are you asking some attacks question?
Attacks?
Yes,
Who asking?
interviewer.
Yeah, different. Attacks is a part of like
Attacks. Different
attacks.
types of attacks.
Okay, attacks. Okay, attacks is definitely you should know about the attacks as well. We have the multiple type of attacks. So sort of we can park it for time being. We'll discuss in the later stage. Okay, if you don't mind. Okay, let's complete me this topic. I just want to maintain the track, and later we'll discuss what are the attacks. Already we discussed in the previous session. Attack type,
नहीं
vulnerability,
सर, वो
phishing,
डीप में
DOS.
पूछते हैं अटैक्स क्यों है और कैसे है, कैसे उसको
Definitely
रिजोल्व
we'll
करोगे.
discuss. Definitely we'll discuss, Saurabh. Right? We'll discuss and we'll talk about it. Okay. Thank you. So, guys, we have the different kind of the guys. Please mute yourself. So we have the different images, right? You guys can use the images here. Based on the image, you can just apply your firewall's image and 9.0 right now it's selected. So just select it and let me just add it here. So I by default 9.0. Simply you have what we can do. You just have to click on here. It is going to be started, right? And you want to stop, you just click on it. It is going to be stops as well. Even you can click right, means left right click. It is going to give that particular kind of start stop features. Even you want to delete, you can delete it as well. So why I'm showing because it's sometimes very important for you when you're going to do the labs. Now the next question: how you are going to access these firewalls, right? So by default, you can see firewall management IP is configured, I mean, it's connected with the cloud network and it is a DSCP enabled network. And here is the management PC as well. So right now I am in the cloud management LAN network, right? So whatever this virtualization have the IP schema, same I have my PC have the same IP schema. So even I want to access this firewall, if I just go and check the IP address, it's showing the IP address 192.168.1.6. So I simply go here and I can log in the firewall from my browser because I am the same LAN network, but you guys cannot do that. So how you can log in this firewall from your lab environment? So let me explain that way as well. So I simply go here and I just click in here and you can see I'm able to log into the firewall. By default username password I have to put. So I'll give the username password as well. What is the username password for the 10.0 and what is the 9.0? Let me put the chat. So you all have to save it. So if I have the pan OS 9.0 image, right? So we have the username and password, admin. And after first login, you have to change the username and pass means you have to change the password, right? But you have to use the, let's suppose you are going to use the pan OS 10.0. Everyone check the chart, right? We have the default this username and password and you don't have to change anything, right? DAUD@123, this is the password for 10.0. And if you are going to use 10.0, you have to use this username and password and you don't have to change the anything, right? It's a fixed static one and it's a hard coded one. But if you're going to use 9.0, you have to use admin as a username, password also as a admin, but after first login, you're going to change that. I'll show you how it is going to happen, but just to take a note, right? So now I'm in firewall. Let me see what I just make the typo mistake. So I'll just log in it here and I'm in the firewall, right? So because I'm in the LAN network, so I can simply log in it. But you are in the your browser mode. You are accessing the firewall from the HTML browser. So once you are trying to access this firewall from the HTML browser, so how your lab is going to look like? So you are going to get one of the link, right? Let me show you. So let's suppose you are going to get one of the link and this link would be like this way. This kind of a link you're going to get, right? So just have to put your URL here. After putting your URL, you're going to get your one username and password. So you just have to put your username and password. Like right now I'm using the admin and here you have to select the HTML console, right? Make sure you're going to select the HTML console and you just have to use the captcha given here and then you log in. So let me change again. So once you log in, you are going to land in the Palo Alto Firewall by default, right? Likewise, what I landed. So right now I'm just touching the lab for the layer 2 mode deployment. Similarly, you're going to get similar kind of labs there. Even you want to create, you can create in all lab or some labs are topology are predefined, no configuration. See if you want to do the configuration, you can do that. There is no problem at all, right? So right now I'm working on this topology. So just simply click on it and you're going to open from here, and then your topology is going to open in front of you. So this is how you access the lab topology. Once you are going to access the lab topology, now you have the second thing, how I can access the firewall. I can access via my own browser, but being remote, how can I access? Simply, I have to go in the management PC. You just have to click in the management PC. This PC is going to be open in the browser terminal. Just click, double click. It is going to be available in your browser, right? Then you have to put password of this PC. The PC password is just 123. Okay, so you can just write it here. The PC of password, everyone write it here because it is going to require again and again. So you'll be in trouble. I don't know this, how it is going to be login. So the password of PC is 123. So you just have to put the PC password 123. Done. So this has been done. What next? Once we're done, if you want to change the resolution of this PC to look very nice, so you can simply go here, screen size, and you can just go here and make it 144090900, right? So it is going to look like in this way. So this will be adjusted, keep changes, okay, and done. Restart later. Now we have to check what is my PC IP address. Okay, this is the first thing. And then I also have to check what is my management IP address. Right now, I found this IP address was written here, so I can simply get that informations. But if I want to check that, how can I check that from the firewall? What is the command for that? That also we have to understand. So first, let me check what is my management PC IP address. Simply have to go in the firewall, go in the CMD, and I run the command ipconfig. And you can see this is my IP address 192.168.251, and this is my subnet mask, this is my gateway. Okay. So now it's time to check what is my firewall management IP address. Then only I can log in that firewall from this PC. So I can go on the firewall. You can double click it. After double click, this firewall is going to open in this way. You just go in CLI, put your username and password. And after putting username and password, right? So you can run a command to check the management IP address. Also, it's showing that this firewall has got the IP address from the DHCP. You can see it's a flashing on top of the login, but you want to check that to show interface management. There is a command. If you're going to run this command, right, you're going to get the management interface, IP address, subnet mask, and default gateway as well. So you can see this information is available here. So once you have this informations available on this particular management interface, another way to check that, you have to run the command easiest way. Another way to show system info, that is also going to give the IP address of the management interface. Now you know that 192.168.1.6. Just go in the PC and try to ping this IP address. This should be pingable, right? Because they are in the same network. So you can say it's a pinging. So now if I am able to ping that, then I'll simply go in the browser. I'll simply go in the browser, and going in browser, I can just simply do the HTTPS this particular IP address, and I'll be able to log into the firewall. So let me go here and try to put HTTPS 192.168.1.6. So I'll just put proceed, and I'll just put again the username and password, and I will be the login into the firewall. Same thing. Sorry, I don't know why it's taking the wrong username password. Yeah. So you can say same firewall having a login on this particular virtual PC. So you guys have to do in the same way. Means you want to do any configuration, you have to follow the same steps, right? You have to first log into the this PC. After login to this PC, you'll get the management interface IP address via CLI by running the command. Then you ping the management IP address. Then you can just do the access of this particular firewall, what I'm doing from my browser. And then rest configuration can be done via the GUI only. Okay. Everyone clear? Give me thumbs up if you all are clear about this, how it is going to be happen. Everyone clear?
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, Nikhil, you are audible.
So this is my first lecture. So can you show like which in what sequence this lecture is? Is it first lecture or second or third?
It's just the beginning of the configuration. There is no configuration has been done, so we are doing the very first step of doing the configuration part.
Actually, I don't know how to get access. How
So even
got
you
access.
join late, or I just start explaining the access only. How to get the lab access. I'm just talking about the how to get the lab access only.
But how did firewall get DHCP IPs? We have to set that, right? So actually, I missed that part. I joined late. I think. Yeah.
Oh, you joined late. Okay. So no need to worry, Nikhil, right? If you want to access the firewall, you'll get the URL like this. Okay. Let me show you. Let's suppose you are going to get one URL like this way, right? And once you log in this URL, you have to put your username and password here. All right. So you just have to put any username, means your username is going to be created, and then you have to select the HTML login, then you have to select the H1. So you are going to land in the firewall in this page, and in this page we have the firewall labs available, right? So whatever labs we are doing here, you can select any of the labs. Likewise, we are talking about the layer 2 deployment. So these labs are like dummy labs. There is no configuration, just lab topology we have. Okay. So if I want to do any lab testing in the layer 2 environment, because I'm going to tell how the layer 2 configuration is going to happen. So you have to select this lab and you just have to open this lab. And after opening this lab, you have to take the firewall access. Means you have to log into the firewall. This is the first step, right? Makes sense. So if
Yeah.
I want to log into firewall, then how the firewall is going to be login? So for that, you have to get the management PC access, and then you have to ping the management IP address of the firewall, and then you can do the GUI access. Have you listened about this?
Yeah, I heard that. But how did firewall get the IP in the like management IP in the first place?
It will get from DSCP from this network. From this network, it will get management network.
So in the working environment, if I plug a new firewall, so I'll
Mhm.
get a console. And so what's the next
Okay,
step?
so you
That way
missed
I'm
that
asking.
you missed that session, right? No worry, I'll explain that session. No worry, okay?
Yeah.
Don't worry.
That's
Okay,
the thing
I
I want.
understand. You understand. You missed that. Some basic configuration of Palo Alto Firewall. No worry.
Yeah,
We'll
this is
discuss
my
that
first
one.
lecture. That's why I tell.
No need to worry. I'll explain that. I'll make sure that is going to be happen. I'll show you that all. I have the real firewall as well, so I'll show you how the step by step is going to happen. So don't
After
worry.
this, I got like the DHCP and all. Thanks.
Sorry.
No, like the current scenario which you are teaching, I got that. Like we'll ping the
Yeah,
management.
I understand. You want to take the first time the day zero configuration, right?
Yeah,
Which we
yeah.
discussed, you missed that, I know. So that's why the reason only you don't know. Okay, no worry. I'll cover that second. Thanks for reminding me.
Uh,
Sure.
so Vishal, sorry to interrupt. So
Yes.
Vishal, this is like it's also my first day as well. I
Mm-hmm.
I got like what you tried to explain earlier, but I just wanted to know since starting from like plugging in the firewall, okay, like what earlier the questions were. So I wanted to know if I can
So
find
can
that
we do
lecture
this
or
tomorrow if you guys all allow me? I'll show in the real firewall how it is going to happen. Is it do? Can we do on the tomorrow? Is it
Yes,
fine?
sir. Yes, yes.
Sure, sure.
Tomorrow we'll do that.
yeah, that
Just
will be
wait for
fine.
tomorrow, okay? I'll make sure it is going to be happen, okay? Is it done? Okay.
Sure. And yeah, so we haven't started the theoretical as well as lab part at the moment, right?
Yeah, we're just doing the first lab. We done discussion about what the question you were asking. Na? We just done last week discussion about that. Okay. So I missed that you guys are joined today. So okay. So I can see a lot of people are joining. So no worry, I'll cover that tomorrow. No need to worry. Okay. Just understand zone part. This is very important. Okay. Balu. Okay.
Sure. Thank you, Vishal.
So just digest it. Okay. For today only. Zone part you just digest. Tomorrow we'll discuss about the day zero configuration as well. So now I'm just
All right.
discussing about, right, how to access the firewall. So at least you guys know what is the username, what is the password, how the firewall is going to be accessible. Now the second question, let's suppose I have one requirement. My two PCs are located in two different location or same floor. It might be in the, let me draw in this way. Let me put this way. Yeah, so just think about this is a Cisco switch. Sorry, my pen is not working today. I don't know what happened. So I have to draw it from my mouse. So this is my two PCs. And if I want to make the connectivity, right? So how this connectivity is going to build? Let's suppose they are going to build in the same network, like 10.10.10.10/24. This is going to be 10.10.10.11/24, right? So if this is the brand new switch and this is just layer 2 switch. So how the connectivity is going to be happen? Anyone can help me to understand the connectivity, how it is going to be happen?
Via VLANs.
Via VLANs.
Inter-VLAN routing will create a sub interface.
Okay. Do we really require any inter-VLAN routing, or is it going to work without doing any configurations? If I just do the switch power on and I connect the cables, I just the switch port no shut, will it going to allow the communication or still require the
Yeah,
inter-VLAN
they both
routing?
are in the same subnet. They'll work.
Any kind of special VLAN, or it is going to work by default as it is?
By default, I think. Was /24, so it's like the first three octets will be
Which
same.
VLAN it is going to take? Which VLAN it is going to take?
Default native VLAN.
Default one VLAN one.
Right. That's why I wanted to understand. So by default switch, every port are going to stay in the VLAN 1. So in this scenario, my communication is going to happen based on the default VLAN 1. So this port are going to stay in the same VLAN. So communication is going to happen. So this is known as the layer 2 topology, where my layer 2 communication is going to happen. Similar thing we just want to achieve from the Palo Alto Firewall. Then how it is going to be happen? So I have one PC, I have another PC. They are in the same subnet, but they separated with the two different switch, right? So if my Palo Alto want to process the traffic from one switch to another switch, then this Palo Alto also need to deploy in the layer 2 mode, right? So it's a just pure switching environment. So I have to generate the traffic from this PC and I should receive the traffic at this PC. So let me do some basic configuration on the PC level first. So simply I'll go and assign the PC configuration, but I think this PC has been dead. Let me see. Let me start again. Let me see this one. This one is working. So let me try this one again. So it's starting. Let me see in window 2 PC. Simply I'll go here. 123 is the password. I simply enter the password here. And after entering the password, I'll just refresh. I'll just go and assign the IP address of this PC. Simple things I need to do. Simply go and assign the IP address of this PC. So I'll go here and IP address is 11.11. Sorry, 10.10.10.11. And I'll put this subnet mask 255.255.0. This is the like same LAN, so gateway is not going to require. They're going to stay in the same subnet, so gateway is not going to require. Simply click OK, and I can check the IP assignment has been done or not. So I'll go in the CMD and I can check the IP config. So you can see IPs are there. One more thing, by default, if you want to ping one PC to another PC, the ICMP is blocked on the PC level. This is a VM problem. So you want to disable the firewall feature. So you just go in the firewall, window firewall, you just find it and just go in the firewall properties and off the firewall recommendations, whatever we have. So I simply go and off the firewalls and yes, it's done. So I assign the IP address, I off the firewall on PC. I'll go in another PC. I hopefully let me see it's working or not. So let me reconnect it. Yeah, it's ready. So I'll do the same thing on another PC. So I'll simply click on it. And I'll simply go again under properties. I assign the IP address on the PC level and change the adapter settings. And if I go in the properties, you can see I can just go here and I'll simply give the IP address, this time 10.10.10.10. And this time my subnet mask would be this. I click OK, OK, OK. Additionally, I can check what is the IP address of this PC. So IP config, you can see this is the IP address of this PC. I cannot ping one PC to another PC because we have the switch and the firewall as well. So we have to do some configuration as well on the firewall and switch level. So let me first off the firewall feature on this particular PC. So I'll just go here, off, and apply. So this has been done. Now we are good with these settings. Now let's go in the switch. Switch is again, that switch is also required to be configured. So what I'm going to do that, I'm going to take as a VLAN 10, and by considering the VLAN 10, I'll do the configuration of the VLAN 10 on the switch. Now simply I'll just change the host name as a switch 1, and I create the VLAN that is a 10, right? And after creating this VLAN, I'll just go on these two ports, that is a 0 by 0 and 0 by 2, right? So simply I'll go in the interface, Ethernet 0 by 0, and I'll assign switch port mode, access, switch port, access, VLAN 10. Another port we have, that is 0 by 2. Again, I'll go and assign that the same configuration, right? And do right. So right now, if you see that, so VLAN brief, these two ports are part of the VLAN 10, Ethernet 0 by 0 and Ethernet 0 by 2, because we purposefully make them in the VLAN 10. So these also need to, because in the LAN segment in the layer 2, entire path should be the same VLAN. Then only it is going to be configured. That means it is going to work. So if I want to talk on the switch 2, we have to do the similar kind of stuff. So I'll go in the switch 2 here. I'll go in the configuration, host name, switch 2, and I'll go and create the VLAN 10 here. Right. And I'll go in the Ethernet 0 by 0. Let me check what is the Ethernet port here. So this time 0 by 1 and 0 by 2. So I can just select this command, interface range, Ethernet 0 by 1 to 2. So both interface I will configure in the one command, and switch port mode access, switch port access, VLAN 10, and do right. So this has been done. And so VLAN brief, if we check it, you can see these are two ports that has been added in this particular switch port as well. So now we have the configuration of switch level and PC level, but still if I want to ping from PC1 to PC2, I believe it is not pingable. Let me show you. So if I just try to ping from, let me first check what is IP address, IP config. So 10.10. So let me ping 10.10.11. That is another PC. It's not pinging, right? So we have to do rest of the configuration on the firewall, right? Because the firewall in between. So we have to do the layer 2 deployment at the firewall level. And we have to see how the firewall is going to be allow the connectivity from these two ports. So simply what I can do that, I simply go on the firewall now. And after going in the firewall, I will just go in these two interfaces, Ethernet 1 by 1 and 1 by 2, and I make them as a layer 2 interface, because in our deployment, we have the layer 2 interface, layer 3 interface, virtual wire, tap mode, sub interface, a lot of things we have. So I'll simply go and make them as a layer 2 interface. So how can I do that? I'll go in the 1 by 1 port. And here, if I just select that, we have the layer 2. We have to define the VLANs, right? So we have to create the VLANs. So we are end-to-end want to map the VLAN 10. So we can create a VLAN from here as well, and you can put any name or number, but that should be the same on the both side. I can just put the VLAN 10 number. It is also going to make a sense, or I can put the any number as well, but this should be the same on both interfaces. It should not like be different, right? So let's use the number 10, right? Just make the more uniform. And at the same time, we have to define the security zone that we start our discussion, right? This is what I want to tell the concept. So security zone is always going to be required. By default, if it is a switch, this additional configuration is not going to be required. You just have to go and deploy this configuration, and then after your work has been done, just VLAN level configuration you have to do. and then everything is going to be settled. No extra need is going to be required. But here security zone is going to be required. So in that case, my LAN to LAN zone communication is going to be happen. So simply I'll go here and I'll create one zone as well. You just go here and create a new zone. You can create here. You can create here as well. Here is another option. So I'll show you these all, how VLAN is going to create here. Zone is going to be created here, but easiest way to create directly from here. You don't have to go somewhere else. So I can put as a LAN zone, right? So this is done. And I click no other configuration is going to require. So very easy things. I just go in the layer 2. I will go in the VLAN. I can go in the zone and I can click OK. My job has been done for the one interface, right? Now I have to do the same configuration for another interface, that is a Ethernet 1x2, right? So if I go on the Ethernet 1x2, I can simply go here. I make as a layer 2. I go here and select the same VLAN. Security zone again, it is going to be same because we already created. I click OK. And then if you see that my configuration has been done, no other configuration is required. But most important, if you do any configuration in the Palo Alto Firewall, this configuration is not going to apply by default. So you have to do the commit of the configuration. So I will go here and do the commit. Just give me 1 minute, guys. I'm coming back. So it's still doing the commit, right? Let me check what is. So you can see commit is in progress. And now if I just show you, you can see the ping is also started here. And you can see ping is start working. And why it start working without any configuration? Because they are in the same policy, same zone. So they start working by default without any other configuration at all. So if I go and do the IP config, 192.168.10.10.10. Let's suppose I'll just ping the 10. You can see it's the vice versa, it's a pinging. So we have the both way configuration. This is something like you can see start getting ping as well. So we have the ping reachability from the both of the side without any issue. So this is how we can create the zone, and zone is going to allow the communication between the two interfaces, but we not configure any policy and all, right? So I'm not going to cover the policy part today, right? Because if I cover it, you might be not going to understand. Also, I'm not going to cover like how the intra-zone communication is going to happen, because also I need to explain the basic foundation that you guys are asking for the from day zero, how Palo Alto Firewall is going to be configured. So what I'm going to do that today, I'm going to conclude the session very short, right? And tomorrow when I connect, right, I'll cover from the very scratch. And I'll explain how you guys can do the firewall level configuration first, and then we'll come back to on the same lab and I'll do the configuration for the intra zone as well. I'll show you how the policy is going to be configured. Will it fine to everyone? Okay to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
Yeah,
just conclude it here, right? Tomorrow we'll do from the very scratch. Okay. I'll do the firewall configuration. So at least you guys understand each and everything who all missed that. And then we can continue from here. So it is going to be very easier to understand. All right.
Yes, sir. But before concluding, sir, I have few more questions, sir.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Like for this batch, this is the lecture. Like, is it first lecture, second or third?
You just consider for your first lecture. Okay. Just first lecture you consider. We'll cover each and everything. That's why I'm saying from tomorrow I'll start from again 0. Okay.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Thank you guys. We'll connect tomorrow. Sub 8, right? On time, please comment, right? Connect.